Welcome to Paper Daisy Journals. It's Kylie. I have 3 little floral journals to show you today, and they are Blossom, Bloom and Flower. They are similar but also a little bit different. So I will go through one with a bit more detail and then less and less with the other 2. So I will start with Bloom. On the front here, I have used vintage postcards, so there are some marks, and I've hand stitched the word Bloom. I've used some gifted tatting lace and a mop or mother of pearl button, a little bee charm on the closure, and on the spine I have a different style of binding because I do like an interesting spine, and I had stitched this embroidery patch that I had made. I will link the shop that I got the PDF pattern from, and I didn't want to cover it with the signature strings, so I came up with this different way of binding. It does look possibly a little bit messy on the inside, but I don't feel that that detracts from the journal, and this has a lot of creative potential. So I've woven some lace through them. This is the postcard on the back here. There's a little blue bird, and each of the journals has a slight colour theme. So Bloom has a slightly sort of yellow theme because there were yellow flowers on the postcards. I have fabric lining, so vintage fabric lining that I've used on the spine on the inside. So they're very bright and cheerful little journals. Victorian calling card pocket stitched in the front with a player's card, a vintage player's card that I've just stuck some ledger on the back, and a collector's card on some really beautiful handmade Tibetan paper. I've used a few of my printables throughout the journals, and I'll link them in the description. This is the bright floral, and I've just put a tab on the side there. Some French diary with a shabby fabric tag, and these journals have quite a few sort of tuck spots and pockets, so some music paper there. Another printable, that's from the Blossoms and Butterflies kit with a Tim Holtz fabric tab. Butterfly book page I've made into a tuck. Some Edith Holden, of course. And you can sort of see the signature strings do double over, but I don't feel that it's too, it doesn't detract, I don't feel, from the journal. And another tuck spot with some ledger. This is a tag I've made from the Bright Floral printable kit. I reduced all of the printables down in size, and this is on cardstock, and I printed out the one of the pages and I tore it in half, and I've literally just stitched around the edge, and that is a journaling card. So that's another way of using my printables, because there's on a lot of them there's 2 sides to the page, and that's what you can do. So I've just put an interesting tab on the top with 3 little cross stitches to add some interest. Oops, he's popped off. And Blossoms and Butterfly kit, a tuck spot there, a pocket and tuck. I have glued some of the tuck spots because I didn't want too much sewing on the page, excuse me, because it can get a bit brittle. And that's the ledger and lace digital kit, and that gorgeous butterfly lady in the bright floral. Another collector's card on some more of that beautiful handmade Tibetan paper, and it tears beautifully. You get this feathery sort of fibrous tear line. Blossoms and Butterfly kit with a cluster of really sweet laces. This is the French Chateau kit. I stamped a butterfly onto some vintage linen and sewed that on as a patch. And this is a little tuck down the bottom. A piece of vintage quilt. I just cut some flowers out and thought that was a nice little textural aspect. And that is on Vintage Embroidery magazine page, and I love the colour and feel of that. Not great for fountain pen. It bleeds terribly on this paper, but ballpoint pen is fine. Another page from the Printable Ledger and Lace and Bright Floral. Book page that I got lazy, and instead of picking the signature strings out to remove it, I just pulled it out and then had to glue some fabric on to reinforce the page so it didn't fall apart, and I actually really like that. So it's a happy accident, and I'll be doing it again. I love happy accidents when they work. That makes them happy, I guess. A pocket there. A book page from a beautiful book gifted to me from one of my friends, Pamela. So thank you for that. I will link Pamela's Instagram account, and she has an Etsy shop as well. A pocket there too, and some more printable, just on copy paper, 80 GSM copy paper, and yeah. The laminated tag, one of my laminated tags in a belly band, nice floral, that was also gifted to me from Pamela. A wallpaper tag with a cluster and a nice interesting tab top, and that's some ledger on the back, just tucked in there with a tab. And you can quite easily write over these pages. I don't like strong colours in my printables, so even though there's writing on it, you can easily write over the top. And that is another embroidery patch that I made, and I've sewn it on there. A little heart applique, and this is a nice big pocket. You could fold a piece of paper and slip it down into this pocket. Now this signature came about because I was concerned there wasn't a lot of writing space, so I decided to add a signature to bring the writing space up a bit, and you'll see it was meant to be blank, but of course it's not. Some Tim Holtz vellum and scrapbooking paper there. Another embroidered patch. There's 3 in each journal, one on the spine, one sewn in and one just floating. So it is stapled in, but you can easily remove that if you want to use it on something. And look, some blank pages. Oh, I obviously panicked. So I have some of my favourite ledger, and I've just hand drawn a little daisy there, or chamomile with a little smile. So hopefully that's quite cheerful. This would honestly have to be one of my favourite pages. Very simple image, printed onto tea-stained paper with a cluster of lace and a letter from the Blossoms and Butterfly kit that I just tear off with a ruler, so it has sort of a jagged edge. And this is another piece of happy mail from my friend Pamela. She does vegetable dyeing, and I just thought the colours match in with this journal beautifully, and that would honestly have to be one of my favourite pages. Some more blank pages for writing. This is the other side of that page from the Bright Floral kit that I shrunk down and printed onto cardstock, and I've just stitched around the edge, torn off an F from the printable and stuck it on there, and done an interesting tab, and that's a little flip out there with some fabric that I got from my friend Cindy in Happy Mail. So I've used her fabric, and also that's the tatting lace. I got that from Cindy as well. So very lucky there. So I've used those, and a tuck spot at the back. There is also another nice big pocket, deep pocket there. Another collector's card stitched on with a little bit of velvet. A cluster on a printable page. A little collage, simple collage there, and tuck spot. This was some sweet trim, vintage daisy trim gifted to me by Emily from Blue Linen Cottage. I have kept some, but I just felt that those daisies matched in with the journals beautifully. That's another printed page. A wallpaper tag, that's original wallpaper that I've used with the letter R from that kit, and just collaged. Another stamped image on some vintage linen, and this is a French telegram. I've stitched around most of the book pages in the middle of the signatures for something interesting, because you can feel the texture and see it. A tab there, more printable page. Another tuck spot, and on this card I've printed this book plate image onto tea stained paper and added a ruffle at the top, stitched around the edge, and I've also stitched some unusual little pink flowers, tea stained paper on the back. They're not a pattern, obviously, they're my own design. Yes, anyway. More printable, another laminated tag, so that's a pressed flower in there, a little daisy, and some beautiful antique bobbin lace, and a nice floral pocket there. And in the back I have a vintage tally card, very bright and cheerful, so nice space to journal on. And that's tucked into another Victorian calling card. That might actually be a trade card, Fancy Millinery and Notions from Philadelphia. So that is Bloom. So as you could see, there was a little yellow sort of theme throughout Bloom. Next one I will do is Blossom. So Blossom, a little butterfly on the front, and I just picked up the colour of these pink flowers, and so she has a bit of a pink theme going on. So that's the spine, and that is the postcard on the back. And inside the fabric lining again, that's the player's card in the Victorian calling card. A wool cigarette card stitched on there, and a little cluster on the printed page. That's the wallpaper tag tucked in there. And book page with a pocket, music paper with a tuck, and another printed page. So you can see they're very similar, but I can't do exactly the same. I just I actually get a bit bored if I have to do that. Doing these three journals, it worked, but I honestly did fatigue because I think I just, from now on, I think I'll just be doing one journal at a time. Even though they're little, yeah, it's just me. It's my, how I flow or don't flow. I do really love that little pink flower there. There were different colours on these blossoms in the PDF suggestions, I guess, and I've obviously just done my own colours for the journals. I really love that cluster there. That's a really nice page. And the stamped butterfly, and on the other side is the laminated tag and some collaging and a Tim Holtz fabric tab, the butterfly page with the tuck spots and some Edith Holden in the middle and another tuck spot there. And this page has a pink floral book plate on the tea stained paper with the pink embroidered flowers, and that is the laminated tag tucked into the belly band there. I stapled this on the top. I'm not sure why, I just decided to do that, and you can actually take the staples out and use the silk and piece of lace trim. Another wallpaper tag with ledger on the back in a fabric pocket, a subtle butterfly stamp. I sort of did that throughout the journals. This heart, this was the first one I did, and I did stick this one on, but the pocket does go all the way down to the bottom, and that is the little flower embroidery for this journal, as you can see. And you've got your blank pages there, your little happy daisy there, and your the tuck spot here with some of that beautiful vegetable dyed or coffee stained card, and the flower fairy postcard flip. And another tuck spot there. Will's another collector's card, and a vintage button, a little ledger cluster, and this is a tuck spot here, and embroidery magazine tuck spot. I put a piece of French diary in this journal and some more of that book there. I also sewed that on there because I was tearing fabric and it was sort of just sitting there, and I thought, well, that's actually quite pretty, that little blossom. Another tuck spot. This is that other side of the page with the cross stitch. Nice big journaling card. A tab at the top and a pocket at the bottom. That's the shabby fabric tag. There's lots of tabs and tags. You cannot say these journals are not full of tabs, tags and tuck spots. And here's a tally card. Lots of teas going on. I feel like a cup of tea now. And a really gorgeous Victorian calling card at the back there. So that is Blossom. She has a pinkish theme. And last but not least is Flower. So a little bee on the cover, and I just picked up the more sort of red coloured flowers on the postcard. So this journal has a very subtle sort of reddish theme. I do have a pinkish sort of closure though, so that is different to the other journals as well. There is her player's card tucked into a Victorian calling card and a collector's card. I really love that little cluster there. Butterfly and the laminated tag, French telegram, and a printable page, book page with a pocket. I really like this book page in the middle here, almost matches the front cover, so I really like how that sort of flows. This is the tag with the little pink flowers on it, the butterfly and shabby fabric tag. I'll just stick that back in so it's flat. Another pocket there, printable page. I just love this Tibetan handmade paper. It feels so lovely. For a paper lover, it's one of my favorites. Another really sweet cluster there on a printable page, and that is a nice tuck spot there, and another tuck spot with some the little quilt flower on the top, and that is also a tuck spot. My little tag's starting to not be useful. And tab and a tuck spot there, and another tuck spot. I love these wallpaper tags, especially I'm just really loving those alphabets at the moment, and how they I just add that little bit of extra onto a collage. That's from the Blossoms and Butterflies kit, and this is the laminated tag for this journal. And oh, I love that postcard. Very risque, because technically in those days she would be wearing her negligee as a butterfly. So but I think very sweet. So that one was sewn on to the pocket, and that is the other embroidery flower, and oh, they're blank pages. That's a little happy daisy or chamomile there, and tuck spot there with some of that beautiful vegetable dyed paper, blank pages, and the fairy flip out, tuck spot there. And I love this wild strawberry trade card or collector's card. Little vintage button. This is actually French diary from a pigeon organization or group. And that's the wallpaper tag. Printable peacock butterfly book page with the tuck spot. I did put eyelets on here. You can take them off. I was going to put some seam binding in there, but I felt that it would interfere with writing, so I've just left those. But you can add something if you want at the end of journaling, so it's not too bumpy. Some Edith Holden in the middle, the cross-stitched journaling card. This is sort of a tuck spot and a tuck spot, so a little double tuck there, which was kind of fun, so I'll probably do that again. And one up there, and that's the quilt patch, and again a little double one, which is kind of fun. And that is the last patch in this journal, and I might be sort of showing off how neat how neat the embroidery is, because the rest have actually been fully sewn on, but I left this one sort of, I thought it was a bit more textural, and I like the movement. And that's the tally card in the Victorian calling card. So that is Flower, a very subtle sort of pinkish red, not actually like bright red theme. So there's Flower, and we've got Bloom and Blossom. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.